So we titled this From Awareness to Yes, which is really what marketing does. Marketing tries to create a funnel that makes people aware of what the heck Topcoder is, why they should care about it, take interest in it. Um, and then, basically from awareness, make a decision to start work with Topcoder. We are a two-sided marketplace, and we are like a symbiotic a symbiotic unison, right? Of really really smart and talented people, and then the customers on the other side that we want to make sure know about the amazing talent. So we'll get going. All right, so for those who do not know me, Clinton Bonner. I run marketing at Topcoder. I've been in this position for about 18 months or more now, maybe even closer to 20 months now. You can find me on Twitter at Clinton Bonner if you want to say hello. Twitter is my favorite social media by a long distance. I'm on Facebook as well, but Twitter is a lot more fun and a lot more honest, in my opinion. And also a couple things about me. I've been at Topcoder for over 10 years now. I'll skip to number 3. I love tacos. So if you ever see me at a TCO or anywhere else and you bring me a taco, I'm not going to be mad at you. And the middle one there, I'm a huge Seattle Seahawks fan. I actually have a podcast that I do with some folks out in Montana, which is a lot closer to Washington. For those that don't know, those are states, which is close to Seattle, Washington, with a home in the Seattle Seahawks, where I'm a huge Seahawks fan. So I have a lot of other interests outside of Topcoder, including music, of course, my family, and as you can see there, tacos. And I love to grill because grilling is beautiful and it's it's nice and sunny out. I got that T-Mobile spatula because I'm a T-Mobile customer, because T-Mobile is one of our largest customers and their service is amazing. Okay, so we'll take folks on a bit of a magic carpet ride today, and we'll go through a couple of these points. I might bounce around the room a little bit, so bear with me. And Harsh, if questions come in and people want to ask questions in between, I'm okay with that. We could hold, if there are questions at the end, all good as well. But I want to take people through this journey here and really start out with our vision and our philosophy. I think it's important for the talent within our community, which is all of you, to understand. I know you get it from Jesse and Adam and Harshit and Nick and others and Mike Morris consistently how important you are to Topcoder. But you might not get it from the other side, the business side, and the understanding that we not only share that philosophy, but we really do our best to amplify that philosophy and make it part of our go-to-market and part of our vision. We'll go into a little bit of like the cocktails that we create on the marketing team. And I use the term cocktail because that would imply there's more than one ingredient and that there's no silver bullet to marketing and getting the story out for Topcoder. However, a mixture of a lot of different things that we can go to market with and tell some amazing stories around seem to do the trick. And of course, we're always sharpening that and trying to get better and better so we can, at the end of the day, deliver more opportunity and deliver more work to you, the community members, because that is what our North Star is to get member payments as high as possible, because we know just fundamentally from a pure business perspective that if we have high member payments, we're succeeding as a business all the way through. So that is literally our North Star. And we'll talk about that, and you'll see a lot of that, I hope, shine through. I'll go into a bit of the focus on content. I come from my previous roles and previous jobs and previous hobbies were all focused on content. And I actually got back into Topcoder after a short, maybe a year and a half, 2-year layoff in the late 2000s. And I got back in because folks at Topcoder, namely Brendan Wright, saw what I was doing with content for other side projects and said, hey, we could use some of that at Topcoder. Do you want to come back and write some blogs and do videos and tell some stories and help our social presence? So I have kind of in my soul, if you will, is a heartbeat that says keep putting out good content and the people will come. And it's not always easy, and it's certainly a hard road because there's easier things to do than to put out content. But I think it's the right one to do, especially when we have the amazing stories that we have coming constantly from you, the Topcoder members, and what you're doing on projects and how you're changing literally how the world works because of your boldness, to be quite frank. I'll go in a bit into how I use the community. Um, I am, I don't know if anybody, maybe the folks listening understand how much Jessie uses the community and her team uses the community to execute on all their projects. Um, I'd like to think on the other side of the business marketing that I'm a mirror image of that. I try to be, at least, and I've actually taken a lot of lead from Jessie and team on how to use the community. And for me, it's not just the Topcoder community. I also use other freelancer communities and other platforms that use crowd and use passion economy mechanics, because my marketing team is not that large. And I'll actually give you a glimpse into that later. However, I think we produce a lot, considering the size of our team. I think we outpunch our size by quite a bit, and that is really because of the ability and the know-how to tap talent on demand when we need it, and it really works well. I do want to hit on some of the rock stars in the community that help us always kind of raise the barn together. If folks are not familiar with the idea of raising a barn, um, I mean, maybe you can think about if people understand the Amish. I'm not sure if that's a new thing to some that might be watching, and that's okay. It's good to learn. The Amish are people over in mainly in Western Pennsylvania, so the northeast of the U.S. And if you've ever seen the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village, they don't embrace modern technology. They literally live with horse and buggies and no electricities, and they build everything mostly out of wood, stone, and they're known for their amazing food, and they're dairy farmers, and they're still farmers and harvesters, and that's how their entire society lives. I share that because when they go to build things together, their community comes together and they literally raise barns together. And there's some great videos out there. If you go on YouTube and you look up Amish raising a barn, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So from a philosophical standpoint, I do want to talk about the idea that folks within the Topcoder community, members, are really helping us lift and really helping us create new content and then get it out there, which is so impactful, so impactful. And again, it's more about this Venn diagram of community marketing plus go to market and customer marketing, where I think we have the best stories to tell and have the most impact. And then I added some time for Q&A if there's a desire for questions that come in. If not, people can write me later. I'm at cbonner@Topcoder. Happy to answer anything. You can find me on Slack as well. So for those that are on our Slack instance. Okay, so I think, I mentioned at the top that I've been in this role maybe 18 months, maybe 20 months now. And I would say one of the things that I'm most proud of is that I think I've led the team in a direction to do the big things right. And what does that mean? And I'll show some examples of what that means. Now, I want more progress, and I want more better leads that turn into more opportunities for great work that drive member payments, because again, that is our North Star. However, in what is a pretty condensed time frame, I do believe the marketing team has focused on the right things. So people may not know that this exists. This is on our website, so on topcoder.com/company. Starting on the right-hand side, our vision is to be the operating system for talent. So in a very technical sense, to be the OS, right? The iOS, the Android, if you want to get an analogy in your brain, but to be the operating system from a technological perspective, so people can access and execute with talent. We exist so that we can change how the world works. We fundamentally believe there's a better way for work to flow to individuals and for companies to benefit from talented people, where it's equitable, very fair, extraordinarily transparent, and is a better use of people's time, where they can self-select into work they're passionate about and do things they care about and work for companies that either intrigue them or they align philosophically with, whatever their choices really are. But the ability to change how the world works, so you as an individual, you're not tethered to one company for your entire life or 20 or 30 years of your life, but you have options and you have the ability to, because you're skilled and because you're bold, and because there's platforms like Topcoder, we're not the only one, that you have opportunity to choose your own adventure and not feel tethered down to something versus the opportunity to go into work when you want to go into work. And by the way, we use this with our customers. This is what we fundamentally believe in. But when we talk to our customers about this philosophy, this rings true for them, especially right now. There's been this gigantic boom of remote work, right? Basically everywhere around the globe, for most parts around the globe, people are now working from home. Teams are innately virtual. Teams are by nature distributed. So the next logical leap, once you get comfortable from not having to go to an office and not having to, slog it in with a taxi or an Uber or a commute or a subway, and you get used to working from home, which I've been working from home myself for 10 years, the next logical step is, well, my team could be virtual, because as long as they're passionate, as long as they're capable, and our communications are high through technology and through platforms, who cares? I look at my team, we'll go into it later. I look at my team, it is very much a hybrid team. I have full-time employees that I've worked with for years, and I have freelancers and platforms that I've engaged for, some of them for months, and now some of them for multiple years to get my work done. I just look at it as the way that work gets done. And again, fundamentally from Topcoder's perspective, that's why we're here. We're here to change how work is done. And by doing so, we provide opportunity to people. And then the mission is more the near term. The mission can change, right? The mission can change maybe annually or every 2 years, every 3 years. It will change more frequently than the vision and the purpose. But our current mission is really around the idea of simplicity, simplifying how people access the amazing talents, how customers access the amazing talent we have within the community, and how people execute with it. So it's not just access. It's not just open the doors and there you go, matchmaker, go have at it. But it's also the tooling and the security and the IP and the platform and the rigor and the knowledge and the soft skills of how do you execute with that talent once you are provisioned access, but making it dead simple so it can be as easy as a Lyft or an Uber and deliver those experiences. Now, as a company, I think everybody would say we've got some wood to chop there, meaning we've got work to continuously do. However, I do want to illustrate to the folks listening that that's our mission. And I think it's a really sound one. So those are some of the big things that we've been focusing on since I took over in this role. One of the other pieces that I'm very, very proud of is that we've purposely, everything we've done, we've tried to bring the talent right to the forefront. So we're not hiding the talent behind anything. In fact, we're very much purposely bringing the different humans, bringing the different stories right to the forefront. We're using the imagery from TCOs, and we're showcasing people who are either rock stars or are just really, really compelling members of our community. And they're just good humans. They're humans who want opportunity, and they have their own story. And we know this works. We know this works from outside of technology companies to any company wanting to make a human connection, to make a connection psychologically that there are really good people here who know what they're doing and that they can help you. So one of the biggest things we've done is over and over and over again, bring the talent to the forefront. And I hope that's evident and obvious to anybody in the community. And again, we'll talk later about how you could even help these efforts and some examples of how some members are exactly doing that. I think that TCO 19 and Jesse and Harshit are always, and Adam and team and Nick and everybody from the community side, TCO is always like this amazing culmination anyway, right? It's beautiful. It is the one word I would use. It is actually a thing of beauty to see everybody from around the globe, our top 100 plus co-pilots plus others that won trips, get together as a community. And maybe so, maybe not in 2020 from a physical sense. Time will tell with that. However, we absolutely will get back to that again sometime in the future. Whether it's this year or next year, well, obviously there's going to be decisions made based on safety, and that is what it is. But TCO 19 was also a really purposeful step forward to again bring the community members to the forefront. They're always the arena, and there's always the challenges. And then this year we purposely layered in and invited in the community to the innovation conference, and we had members also appearing with on stage with customers. We had customers shouting out members who were in the crowd, different co-pilots that had helped on projects, and it was all, not to say it was all orchestrated like, pawn for pawn, each and every move. However, it is absolutely fair and right to say we set the environment for this mix. We set the environment so that it looked and felt like one Topcoder open to both our customers and our community members, and that was the purpose. And that will be a driving factor going forward as well. And I think we'll only get better, better and sharper with time. And what it boils down to is, again, when we bring our customers closer to you, closer to our amazing talent, we receive more requests to use you in a good way. We receive more business requests when people can understand this talent is really strong. These are really sharp, really passionate people, and that's our focus. So we can't always do it physically. So when we can't do it physically, we do it virtually, and that's kind of what marketing's always doing. But I want to just call out that TCO 19 to me was a great culmination in this, in this journey together. And for those who maybe didn't see this, this was really an awesome project. If you're like a Topcoder fanboy or fangirl, you've probably seen this already. And if you haven't, or if you're watching this later, I would really encourage you to click on that YouTube link and Harshit, if we could send it out to whomever wants it. But this is the Passion Economy documentary. And this is a screen capture, as you can tell from the red bar down there, towards the very end of it. It followed 5 members from across the globe, and it also included Sandika, who and his wife. I want to say Fariti, but I might be saying her name incorrectly, so I apologize if I got that wrong. But they traveled the globe, and they captured these stories of 5 amazing people from across the globe, which was, Scott Wu and Sergey and Perry Vicky and Thomas and the missing one. Somebody will call me out on that, and that's okay. I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. But it was an amazing. Oh yes, thank you. Satya's World, right? Harshit, how do you Nithya, right? Is that correct?
Nithya and Periviki, yeah.
Yeah, Periviki I got. Nithya as well from India.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really just number one, it's beautifully shot. It is absolutely incredibly captured, and Sandika and again, if I Harshit, am I getting her name correct, Fariti, or am I mispronouncing it?
For Nithya, or
no, for Sandika's wife.
Yeah, you're getting it right. Farita.
Farita. So they did a tremendous job, and it was just a beautiful piece that has been super, super well received. Something that I think is important. Wipro, who is our parent company, they pay for it. The CMO of Wipro, her name is Laura Langdon. I have a great relationship with her and a growing relationship with her, and she loves Topcoder. She loves the story of Topcoder, and we sat down at a table, and she's like, "Let's put a documentary together. Get me a budget. What do you think we need?" And then about a half a year later, from that conversation, we released it, and I think it was January at this time. Maybe it was February. But it gangbusters, really well received, well over 5,000 views on YouTube and counting. We had an awesome release party. Again, the community team did an excellent job with the post-release party on the documentary, bringing in the stars and bringing in the videographers. It was really cool. So again, I look at some of the things we did in 2019 as some of the best work we've done so far as a combined effort to say, this is one go-to-market strategy. These are humans, amazing, talented people. And if we tell their story, then our customers will want to know more about them and work with them. And if that happens, then we have more work. And that's our goal, going back to our mission and our purpose and our vision. So please, I do encourage anybody to check that out, because I think it was such a cool thing. Okay, I will take a pivot there. Harshit, is there any need for me to pause, or any questions that might have come in that you want me to ask before I go to the next section?
We don't have any questions yet, but whenever it comes, I'll just pause you when you are transitioning, and then we can take it up.
Sounds good. Thank you. And again, if there are folks who want to ask, then please do. I thought it'd be cool for folks to understand how I hit on it at the top, how I use Topcoder and other communities every single day to get my work done and get our team's work done, which is really project heavy, marketing project heavy work. And just so it's, so people understand that we drink our own champagne at Topcoder. And again, the community team is probably, the community team and the platform team definitely do an amazing job of it. And then I just want folks to know the marketing team on the business side, we all also live this way too, because we think it's the right thing to do, and it's just highly effective. So this is my world in this. It's kind of sad. This is my world in a in one slide, right? This is my. Let me preface that. Let me change that. This is my work world in one slide. Obviously, there's no tacos on this slide, so it can't be my whole world. So, but this is how I get scale through communities, and how I get scale a lot of times through Topcoder. So I'll take you through. I'll take it through some of this. Anything that is gray or purple are my full-time employees, or roles that are covered by full-time employees. And that's it. That's the marketing team. There are a couple of other players there, like the ops side has a couple of people inside ops and things like that. So it's a little bit more volume in terms of how many people are on marketing than what is just kind of denoted by the ovals, but not a lot more. The team gets incredible scale. Everything that's either light blue or verging on that teal aqua color is either a platform that's a community, as represented by Verblio and Weve, which I'll give a little detail on those, or singular freelancers. And some of them might be on the Topcoder platform, and some of them are not. So starting on the left-hand side, just quickly giving a glance, marketing generalist over on the left. That's an individual that we've been working with as a freelancer for quite a while, well over a year and a half, who's on our platform, that does a lot of work, specifically now within account-based marketing, which is the ABM gray pill you see over there. Our content lead, who then uses the Verblio platform. Verblio is a blogging platform of US-based writers, but our content lead is on the Topcoder platform. She is the person, I have stand-ups with her, I have daily Slack conversations, I talk with her twice a week, and we put out the content we put out, which is, in my opinion, robust. There's PR on the platform as well. And then our creative lead, I think many folks would know Dara K, Daniela, and also we use Shakespeare and others there too. And they pipe into Trevor Gehring on the creative director side to really get us a lot of scale. They go to our Topcoder design bench, and we just do work through that. But that includes videos and development and animation and script writing, voiceovers. Everything we're doing on marketing is being touched by communities in one way or the other. For those who might be like, hey, what's Weve? Weve is a translation or transcription service, also powered by crowdsourcing. So pretty cool. And it's quite inexpensive. So you can toss them videos, you can get translations, you can get what do you call those, subtitles and all those things, and transcripts done in very short order. So just some tools we use. But I thought it'd be interesting to show folks that we do this on a daily basis and we use it at scale. Okay, so a bit of a pivot from my day-to-day is, and we'll kind of circle back to some of the things we create, but an important thing to illustrate is who do we sell to? And I want to make this as clear and abundantly, concise as possible. We sell to enterprises. Now, yes, we do work for some small to medium-sized businesses, and we do work for startups and things of that nature. However, the thrust of our efforts, like 95% of our efforts, if not more, are focused on reaching companies of this size and, again, making them aware, piquing their interest, and driving them towards a decision to work with Topcoder. I'll say this, it is not by any means, it's not a marketing function by itself in a silo, finding these customers. These customers come through myriad entry points and vestibules, including the Wipro channel, including customer referrals, including just expansion efforts and things of that nature. And of course, marketing is there to also bring in new logos, but also support, create content, and help people along and help convince people once they are inside our marketing funnel that this is a good place to believe in and trust and get some work done. The main takeaway, if folks are not aware, is that we are truly focused on enterprise use of on-demand talent. Enterprise use, you could call it crowdsourcing, you could call it gig economy, call it passion economy, talent economy. Really what it boils down to is on-demand talent being used on enterprise level projects and programs. And that is where our focus is. I think I'll share some, you know what, I'll give a couple examples right now because I know these stories, but maybe people don't know. So quickly, just kind of hopping around a few there. T-Mobile. T-Mobile's done a lot of design and development work on web applications, B2C applications. Like one that comes to mind is a switching tool. So when customers are looking to switch from, say, you know, some different carrier, don't want to throw any of them under the bus, they could come to a smart tool, a web interface, kind of tell the tool what they're now paying and what kind of coverage they need, and the T-Mobile switching tool will spit out what they would be saving on T-Mobile. So we're talking about, you know, that's an impactful thing. These are not pet projects, although coincidentally we did create a pet sync project for T-Mobile that allows you to track your cat with like geofencing and some wayfaring and things like that through a mobile phone. But that is mere coincidence. They are B2C applications and also B2B applications. We build a lot of worker tools that make work life better for these companies as well. For Comcast, we built tools for folks doing installations, you know, to make their workday more efficient and better. For NASA, there's a whole litany of things we've done, and that span a whole lot of data science to you know, data science challenges, all the way to maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but Topcoder has an application called the ISS Fit, which is a fitness intake tracker. So like a food intake tracker. So astronauts can track what they're consuming when they're aboard the International Space Station. It's an iPad app, and that app is up in orbit being used on the ISS. You know, hey, moment of pride, take pride in that, because a lot of people touch that, and the Topcoder community built that. One other I'll park at is Microsoft, because it's a different type of work. With Microsoft, we're doing 24-hour, even less sometimes, QA cycles against their Teams product. So if folks who don't know Microsoft Teams, that's their collaboration suite. That is not just like Zoom, that's the video part, but also it's kind of like Zoom and Slack mashed up for the enterprise, and other tools and features as well. But we do the QA engineering in 24 or less cycles every 7th day for Microsoft on one of their most successful products they've ever had. So really, really compelling, important work. So the big takeaway here is, if you're ever asked, well, who's Topcoder's customers? At the very least, I want to drill into people's heads. Topcoder caters to the enterprise, and we do work that impacts them as a company, but also impacts their customers. So B2B and also B2C. And it's a lot of applications and algorithms and data visualizations and QA. You all know the skill sets out there, and we're darn good at it, and we're very proud of it. So when we do talk to our customers, when we first get awareness, and awareness usually comes from other things, social media, videos, things that first make them aware, advertising, what we want to use to move them down the funnel towards having sincere interest so they can take an action or make a decision, is we want to just hit them with the clear-cut benefits of Topcoder. Again, I'm sharing this so it's like people want to know how we go to market. This is it. This is as simple as it is, when it's like, hey, we talk about the speed of using Topcoder, we talk about the scale that it provides, and now a new topic that's coming up in this COVID world and what will be a post-COVID, work from home world and a hybrid world, if you will, is this idea of resiliency. So I'll go into that in a second. Speed should be obvious to anybody on the call. Speed is the idea that it is on demand. You can get great talent, whether that's through our traditional challenge mechanisms or through talent as a service. The ability to get highly specialized and highly skilled individuals onto work faster than what you can do traditionally is speed. And when we talk about faster than traditional, how much faster are we really talking? In a traditional setting, this is a huge selling point, huge selling point. In a traditional setting, most companies will spend either at least a week, probably several weeks, and sometimes or often into a month, month and a half, 2 months, just to source the right people through all the minutia they have to go through, getting people off a bench if they're full-time or contracted employees, and getting them on and approved to do other work or new work. That process alone to identify, get approval, get them on new work can take months, at least a week, and very, very often much longer. In the Topcoder world, obviously that is as near to instantaneous as we can be at this point. And we keep on chopping away at how quick can we deliver on that promise of speed. When you condense the time frame to begin work, you're not only condensing the start of the work, but then you're collapsing the entire project. So if an enterprise project would traditionally take 12 to 15 months, a Topcoder project of the same exact size, same exact project, would likely be done in 6 months, 7 months, 4 months, depending on how much we throttle. So we're really talking about tremendous gains in speed overall because the speed to start is so dramatically better. And then there are also, I'd say, incremental gains in velocity throughout the project as well, because as you go from part of a project to part of a project, again, the talent can come in and stream to the work much, much quicker than in a traditional enterprise where you might suffer delays or have to wait for people to come off a bench and other things that are very traditional hurdles to speed. Scale, I'll be a little bit more concise with this one because I think it's not simpler. It's just that scale is delivered because we have the talent, because you are the talent. The scale is there, so if people want to ramp into more design, people want to ramp into more Angular work or more, hey, we want to get 5 POCs, proof of concepts through a pipeline this month. It's just a matter of the customer's desire to kind of hit the gas, if you will, in terms of how much they want to put through Topcoder. And that provides them scale that, again, if you go back to the traditional problems and the things that cause a delay in speed traditionally, it's the same thing. They can't get to that talent when they need that talent. Therefore, they cannot scale, and they're really choked down in how much they can do over any given slice of time. But Topcoder is all about speed and scale. The last one is more new. It's always been there, and we've always talked about it. However, now it's really in the limelight because of COVID. And this is the concept that, hey, bad things happen. I'm a New Yorker, so I lived very, very much through 9/11 in 2001. And then, I live in Connecticut, but I'm a New Yorker. And the center of the financial collapse in America was, well, again, New York, right? I'm born and raised in New York, and right now New York is going through the worst of it in terms of the COVID crisis. Resiliency is the idea that through hybrid, and the concept of hybrid is I have full-time employees and I supplement or I augment their capabilities with crowd, with folks who are dynamic, folks I could burst to, folks that I could stream in and out of work when I need to. It's not the concept of replacing all full-time workers with crowd. It is the combination of traditional full-time with the addition and the forethought of the use of crowd at scale. And when those things combine the right way, you get tremendous resiliency because that workforce, if you combine those two things, that workforce is a heck of a lot more flexible and can do more work more quickly, even when disaster strikes or there's a crisis or there's a pandemic. That workforce is much, much more resilient, and it doesn't affect the productivity because the cogs, the people, the talent within it are not dependent on showing up to a big glass building in the middle of a metro area. In fact, they could be like Thomas in the Passion Economy documentary and go to a beautiful lakeside in Greece, open up their laptop and get work done. That is the idea of resiliency. And that's something we're pushing to market with a lot of gusto and also a lot of early success. We've always had it, but now is the time to really push this concept because it matters. It's in the limelight, meaning it's front and center right now, and it's time to push that. So I wanted to go through these 3 benefits with a lot of care, because maybe it's useful to you to know, but these are what we talk about always, and we know they resonate. I actually have a video here. Harshit, let me know if this plays well enough, but I do want to talk about it, and if it's not playing too well and it's choppy, we can cut it and send it back. But overall, I will play this. We look at how we grow in 2 categories, right? At least 2 categories. But macro, there's net new logos, net new customers, which again is gaining awareness and moving them towards a decision with a lot of content that we create. But there's also account expansion. And this takes cross-team effort. But it's not just cross-team. It's not just, my team working with sales and working with delivery. It's also our teams working with the community. And I thought this was a really cool thing that we did out at T-Mobile. I'll play this now. It's it's a pretty short video. It's pretty exciting. This is super exciting. Topcoder stand here with T-Mobile. Our brands side by side. To work faster, to take smart risks, and really get things done in some brand new ways.
There's a similarity between what we try to do and what Topcoder offers as well. We're both agile, we like to break things and move quickly.
They're super impressive, they're very responsive to ideas, and the thing that really impressed me was the turnaround time.
The instant bandwidth available that you get ready to go the next day.
How long would it take our vendors to do it? This is going to take about 3 or 4 months. I got this in 2 weeks. What?
The volume that you're able to see and then the ability to do comparison across those designs is orders of magnitude more than you could achieve as an individual designer.
Doesn't matter what you throw at them, they can get it done.
That is amazing to me. I haven't seen that kind of execution anywhere else.
This is just pure magic.
I'm Jory Hines, a product manager on the T-Mobile T-Sales team.
I'm Wendy Casey, senior manager.
Rooks is a 3-day challenge.
That stands for rapid user experience.
Each design had elements that we loved. We put our heads together, we chose a winner, and we're so excited to share it with everyone.
We want to send a big congratulations to you, Sandika.
Sandika!
To show how on-demand access to high-quality talent is through Topcoder. There you go.
I think there's a lot of benefit that we in product and technology can get from this partnership, and there's a lot of alignment between what we need to do and what offerings Topcoder has.
I don't need to introduce Brian, of course, but I do want to thank him for the partnership, the people I've met today, and the work that we've done across the organization. Everybody, without failure, bleeds magenta. Where this industry is headed is more and more and more towards gig opportunities like Topcoder and tapping the gig economy. The more brains you can bring to the table, the more creativity and the better solution you get.
This has been an awesome experience. It's really been, frankly, a blast.
I'm excited for the partnership and looking forward to see what the future has to hold.
So I'm not a T-Mobile customer yet. By the time I come back here, I will be, all right? And you can hold me to that or don't let me back in the door.
It played out pretty well.
Mobile. Okay, cool. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. And if you haven't seen it, that is up on our YouTube channel. But again, the big point that I want to make there is bringing the talent directly to the customer. We ran a RUX, a rapid user experience, while we were out at Bellevue, which is just east of Seattle, over a cool island that's out there if you ever get to visit. It was great, just having the community members participate, and then I think we were Skyping them in or whatever we were using to bring them in. Sandika happened to win that particular challenge. But it just, again, it lights people, it lights the light inside them. They kind of get it when we do what we're supposed to do here, which in my opinion is bring you all closer to the customer and the customer closer to you, because you're the rock stars, you are the talents. So Harshit, how are we doing on time? I think we're running a little bit late. How much more before you want me to wrap?
We probably left with 20 odd minutes.
Okay.
Do you think is it?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I do want to just also talk a little bit about, I talked about this cocktail mix earlier. So what in the world do we do all day? For the most part, we're creating content. We're creating content, and then we're deciding how to use that content and how to fire it off, and fire it off to whom. Sorry about that. And in this case, you can see down the, I won't read them all, but it's really a long laundry list of things that we're constantly doing in terms of content creation, and also strategic moves with analysts and partners so that we can be positioned as a great go-to resource for amazing talent. What I want you to think about is the slide, a couple of slides earlier, where you see the stuff we're doing. And I think we're doing a nice job of consistently putting out and meeting the needs of the market in terms of the content. And again, just harken back to the slide where we're using, to get scale, we're using communities and we're using Topcoder to do all this stuff, right? Yes, there's some great, I have an amazing team. My team is truly, truly amazing and hardworking, and they get results. And then with them, the use of crowd and the use of platforms and Topcoder helps power all this. So all these things are touched by folks like yourselves, which is really cool. Just to show off some of the stuff. Again, this to me goes back to I would take pride in the fact that I think we've done the big things right, concentrating on the brand, bringing the stories forward, really concentrating on video. We've done a ton of video, ebooks, GIFs, more media friendly things that could be easily consumed. And I think again, it's paying off and will continue to pay off into the future. But I think most of all, I love how all this looks, the way this looks, the way this feels, and how it represents the community is, I think, probably my favorite part of all this. And then I would love to give credit to Jesse and Harshit and team, because every time I see something come out of the community now, it has this flavor, it has this branding, and it looks like one company and with one purpose and one vision. And I think that goes such a long way, which is super cool. Okay, I used that time earlier to talk about the Amish over in Western Pennsylvania, who again live their life without modern technology. And if you ever see a video on YouTube where they go to raise a barn together, they are literally raising a barn. So I want to point out a couple of folks from the community. There's more than just this. These are just 3 examples I plucked from. There are certainly more than this. There are certainly more people out there holding this up. But here are 3 people that do it consistently. So I want to give some love to Fajar. So Fajar is always out there. And of course, I have to translate what he's writing, but he's always out there promoting design challenges and ruxes to his community. He's running workshops on his side of the world and just doing some amazing, amazing things. Luis, longtime friend. In fact, I'm friends with all these people, which is really cool to say. But Luis started with some others, Topcoder Nation, and they really embrace getting the story out there to other people who are very passionate about this livelihood, this way of living. And I think Luis really embodies that. And I know there's more than just Luis there, but I am giving Luis some love because he's always at TCO with a smile for me, and we always have a good time over some wine or some beer. And then of course we have Vladimir here, and I think I'm saying his name incorrectly, but I know he's from Brazil, and I know he's an amazing data scientist, and I've got a chance to meet him at several TCOs, and he's always humble. He's always really smart. But you might not know, he's also really active out on Twitter. He can be active in both ways to challenge Topcoder to be better. When maybe there's something we need to improve, he's out there doing that. But he's also out there championing, marathon matches and data science challenges and things that come in from our customers like SpaceNet. And he gets, you can look at that one particular tweet that I clipped. He's got a huge following. So this is what I mean when I say that raising a barn together is not just marketing on one side and community on the other, and there's no synergy together. It's the exact opposite. It's marketing on the customer side, the community side, doing things together so that we get the most thrust to market, the most people become aware of what Topcoder is, and then when awareness goes up, then their interest is piqued because we have great content, and we can move them down the funnel to working with us in some way. And of course, it also helps to grow the community, which is amazing. So I want to give some love to these 3, plus all the community members that are out there who are doing this with us, which is really, really impressive. A couple of other just examples I'll go through quickly. Marek Saigan on the left-hand side. He shot this video at the 2018 TCO, and I Am Tom on the right-hand side also shot that at the 2018 TCO. People who are willing to sit down and get on camera with us. We just finished an ideation challenge. We just finished an ideation challenge with Dell and Intel and HP and a couple other players. And the winners are willing to get on and talk about their ideas. Like, what did they conceptualize? What did they like about what's called the EdgeX Foundry, which is this IoT ecosystem that we did this challenge on. And it's things like this that I can only say thank you. It's really, really cool when the individuals who are competing at such a high level are willing to come in and provide this kind of level of content, because this is the stuff that we could send directly to that next new customer to say, what kind of talent do we have at Topcoder? This is the kind of talent we have at Topcoder. And we could send the documentary and say, these are the kind of people that are inside Topcoder. This is the kind of passion that is in this community. And again, huge differentiator for us. I don't think any other community that focuses on crowd or on-demand talent on the planet can touch us when it comes to this kind of participation from the members. So again, thank you. If you happen to have a chance to shoot something with us in the future, or if you're asked to, I hope that you say yes. And I hope that you encourage your members to do so as well. I'll just go quickly over this. This is kind of like this is actually an older slide. Please, this is not meant to be clipped or sent socially. Please keep this internally, but we do believe in transparency. T-Mobile is a very public customer of ours. Obviously, we just watched that video that was on YouTube. And this is outdated now. This development capacity case study is outdated. But this is the kind of state we want our customers to get to, where it is continuous development, continuous design work, continuous engineering and APIs, and helping them build applications and solve problems for their business and for their customers. And the team at T-Mobile, from Abbott and Cindy and Rosh and his team and VJ, have done such an enormous job getting this customer to this scale, and we continue to grow it. And that's because of your execution, because of the talent that is executing on the work. But this is where we want, I won't say all, but we would love most of our customers to arrive at the state of T-Mobile, which is at true scale. Because again, what happens there, we have constant work. It's really good work. We're able to, send that through to you, the members, up our member payments, which is our North Star. And we know as we do that we succeed as a business, which means we succeed for the talent and for our customers, because we do have two sides to the marketplace. Harshit, that is what I had. If there are questions, I am happy to take them. I've got 7 minutes before a next call if there's any questions.
First of all, Clinton, thanks for bringing all these big names and customers for our community to work for. That's the kind of opportunities marketing has been generating for the community. That's immense, and that's great. Thanks a lot for that. I have one question, and that is, how does analyst relations? I have always been thinking about it, and I wanted to ask you personally, but it's a good platform right now. How does analyst relations play a role in getting more like how does it work? How does that side of things?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let's define it, because there's probably folks who don't realize that there is this world of analysts and what do they do. So let's quickly define that. So analysts, and let's put some names out there. Analysts are companies like Gartner or Forrester or IDC, and there's a lot of them. 451 Research, there's a lot of them. But there's probably like 10 or 12 that are quite big. There's one called Constellation, et cetera, et cetera. Their job is to analyze, right? Their job is to look at marketplaces and look at tools, and do research, and then publish research to tell their customers, who are usually enterprises and organizations, what tools, what platforms, what strategies should they be thinking about as they, go into the next year or go into the next quarter, whatever that might be. So analysts like Gartner or Forrester and the others, they have people that are dedicated to understanding new ways of getting work done. So they have folks who are dedicated to the future of work, or they have folks dedicated to, 10 years ago, cloud technologies or mobile strategy, a decade ago. So we put a lot of effort in. This is led by Rupali Rout on our team and Alexis Sleet, but also it's tied to Wipro. So Sonia Gill from Wipro puts a tremendous amount of effort and investment into analyst relations. And they bring us to conversations. So what happens is we have very often one-to-one conversations with interested analysts who want to know more about Topcoder. And they want to know, maybe it's specific, maybe it's like a telco conversation where they want to know, what are we doing with, how is T-Mobile using us and how is BT using us? Or maybe it's more macro and they want to know, what is our philosophy in the future of work and how can people use a hybrid workforce? That would be a more macro discussion. The analysts want to kind of get down to the nitty gritty and talk to our SMEs, which are our subject matter experts. So we do a lot of preparation and we do a lot of courting where we write to analysts saying, we'd like you to understand Topcoder. At the end of the day, what happens is they digest the stories from Topcoder that we're preparing for them. They do their own research and then they write about it. They put out publications, they put out their own videos, they have their own conferences. And the net is, in a good way, the more you could influence analysts to talk about you positively, then the more enterprises and organizations will learn about you. They will become aware of what you offer. And there's many mechanisms out there. Gartner has something called the Magic Quadrant. Forrester has something called the Forrester Wave. It's ways in which they put organizations into categories of maturity, basically. So how mature are they for the thing that you maybe want to go do? So we're constantly out there trying to influence in a positive way the coverage from analysts so that they write favorable things about us that get digested by their customers, who are enterprises, who then are aware of what they could do with Topcoder, and then via a recommendation, take a business call with us. I wanted to give the more detail on that than a short answer, because that entire ecosystem of analyst relations is foreign to a lot of people. However, if you go into a large organization, a large enterprise, very often, if you're not on a researcher's like top 10 or top 5, you will not make the cut. You won't get a call. You'll never get a chance to be in a large conversation. So it's really, really important work, and it's constant work. It's a grind, but it's a good kind of grind. Harshit, I hope that's enough meat on the bones for you.
That perfectly answers my question. I get that thing that enterprises now, they try to reach out to the analysts to find out what is the best place for me to get the job done. And then they have this research with them to actually help the enterprises that this is where you need to go and these are our recommendations. I get your point. Thanks for answering that.
No problem. Good question.
We don't have any other questions, Clinton. Do you want to conclude?
Let's wrap. But we have we're landing on time, and I'm sorry I was a few minutes late. I do apologize, but I just want to say thank you to the community team for, during this COVID crisis and scenario, the community team has done a tremendous job, just getting more things out there, whether they're education, whether they're paid for, and whether they're opportunities for our members to learn. And this is an example of that. So we have this, I wouldn't call it downtime. In fact, I might be busier than I've ever been in my professional life. However, it's the right time. It's the right time to educate people. It's the right time to get them to understand something a bit deeper in topics where they want to. So my gratitude is to the community team and to all the members. If you see me on Twitter, if you see me on Slack, say hello. And hopefully we'll be together at TCO 20 in a physical form. And then at that point, you could bring me a taco and I'll buy you a beer. So let's we can end that there. But I really do appreciate, our members are what move us, and we exist to uplift, and we exist to bring the work to you, because we know how good you are, and we know how passionate you are, and we're in it together to change how work can be for anybody out there who's got the talent and the passion, which obviously the folks within our community clearly do.